Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darylyn, and today I'm just going to be potting some plants because I have so many plant chores to do. It's getting out of control. Ralphie has been keeping me pretty busy, so I haven't really gotten a chance to stay up on some of these chores. So I've got mostly anthurium to repot today. I have two that absolutely need to go, and then if we have time, I have a few more that I can pull out. So I'm going to be repotting them into pon, which I've got a giant bag of here. This stuff is like really hard to get. I had to pay like above like market price to get it on Amazon, which at least it was from an independent seller and not just from like Amazon's warehouse, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so I've got these two Anthurium besseyi affinis. This is the regular affinis, and this is the green form. And they have been like really long overdue to get out of these little moss pots, but again, I've been really busy, so. Let's get started. Alrighty, so a lot of people ask me about these self-watering pots and about pon and semi-hydro and all that, and I for the most part really like it, but one thing that I've definitely discovered is that with anthurium especially, you really want to keep the pot size like as small as possible. Seedlings, like even though these pots don't look very big, seedlings like a lot of times do not do well in these because they're too big. So I think these plants are going to be the right size. It's going to be a lot of work to take all the moss off of these. Okay, that actually wasn't bad at all. These like really are not rooted into the moss that intensely. I think that this chunk has some rot on it. Yeah, like it's mushy from like half of it almost. So I'm gonna cut that off. Hopefully these scissors work. I'm just gonna sterilize them with some alcohol. I mean, that would kind of explain why this plant hasn't really been growing. Oh yeah, that was so easy to pop off. Like, anthurium stem is never that easy to cut. Ew, it's so gross. It smells horrible too, so. Okay, so the rest of the chunk is fine. So I'm gonna leave it on. I used to be really liberal about removing rhizomes from anthurium because I was just like, I want more plants, but like really having a larger rhizome helps so much with encouraging the plant to grow. So now that we've got that yucky bottom bit removed, just kind of pull some of the excess moss off. And yeah, I mean, all the roots look great though. I think it was just that little piece of stem that was the issue. Now hopefully that this plant has been cleaned up, we will get some nice healthy growth. So I'm actually going to sanitize this chunk with some diluted Physan 20 because rot is, you don't want that. So I'm going to actually clean the leaves off too really quick. Okay, so hopefully this plant is going to be much happier now that it's got that nasty rotten bit off of it. Ew. All right, so while that dries, I had been meaning to like film a repot with me for a really long time, but I've just been busy. And so like a really long time ago, I asked people for questions and I only remember a couple of them, but one person asked me who my favorite YouTuber is. And I mean, that's like pretty much an impossible question to answer because I feel like I like different plant YouTubers for different things. So I guess just like a couple of them off the top of my head that I like watch consistently. I really like to watch Becca de la Plants for like just a chill, like hang out, almost like a surrogate, like socializing kind of vibe. Same with Harley G, but I also find that I learn a lot from her because she just has so many different kinds of plants that I've never even considered like keeping. So I really like both of them. And also Wild Fern is another good one that I love for just like the chill, social, like hanging out with my plant friends kind of surrogate interaction. And then Also, I mean, I watch Kaylee Ellen. I have probably watched her the longest of everybody on YouTube. She's just extremely entertaining, you know, and I learn about all kinds of cool plants from her. So I don't know why it is, but I don't always get everybody like recommended in my feed, even to the people that I'm subscribed to. But I love Pamela P. She's amazing and really funny. And when she decides to put out something that's like more researched and, you know, like a more in-depth kind of video, her videos are so good. And she's just fun, you know, like I feel like that's mostly like why I watch plant YouTube at this point, is just for hanging out. I don't really find myself Googling like a lot of tutorials at this point. And then of course, Nick Alexander, his videos are so funny, and like you can tell he puts so much effort into the editing and the scripting, and like let me tell you, from someone who like does not put a lot of effort into scripting, that must take him such a long time, and like mad respect. So those are kind of just like some of my favorites. I don't know. I have to like, oh, obviously also Rachel from Heart Shaped Leaves. Like I love her. She's so funny. So those are kind of my favorites. And then someone else also asked me what my favorite plant is. And it's like, how could I even choose a favorite plant? Like I couldn't even choose a favorite genus. So I don't even really know how to answer that question. But, oh, I broke a root. Tragic. But I guess I could just say that like right now I'm really loving my Philodendron luxurians and my Anthurium crystallinum black and my Anthurium metallicum, because they're just all doing really well. I don't know. Like that's really difficult. I mean, my Albo Monstera are always my favorite, and my Strawberry Shake is always my favorite, and my Anthurium Regal right now, you guys, I actually need to make a separate video about it because it is doing so well just in my living room without, you know, extra humidity or anything, and it's taken like a year, but it can be done. Like you can grow an Anthurium Regal in open air, and like I'll have to make a separate video on that, but I guess that would kind of like round out my favorites. I think that this question is probably why so many YouTubers do like monthly favorites videos, because it's like you can't choose like your favorite plants. It's impossible. You know what I mean? So that's, I guess, my little spiel on that. All right, so when we're potting in pond, I think it's a lot less essential to get like every single speck of moss off. Like it's really important for leca. I broke another root, but I'm just, I don't know, I guess like giving it as good of a go as possible. Little roots, they're cute. I think somebody else had asked me about, this was like a long time ago, so this was back when Pippa was around, but somebody had asked me some questions about Shar-Peis, and just basically like, how did I choose that breed, and just like some general like reasons why I got into it, like what it is particular about that breed that I like. And well, the answer is that I actually had a Shar-Pei mix in the past, and she was awesome. Her name was Nola, and she was just like the chillest, most agreeable, eager to please dog ever. And she actually didn't, she's with an ex of mine, but she was just an awesome dog. And when it came time to look for a dog, I just was Googling, you know, breeds that do well in apartments and breeds that do well with being left alone and don't need a ton of exercise. And like the Shar-Pei breed came up as number one. And I had had such a good experience with my Shar-Pei mix that I was like, okay, yeah, like this breed will fit all of the requirements that we need. So that is kind of like how we decided to take the plunge on it. But you know, they are, like I said in my other video, like not really an entry-level dog ownership experience. So I would definitely like, you know, if you're used to something with the personality of like a pug, like I don't really recommend, like you'll be disappointed. And you know, they are expensive and they have health issues, and like you really gotta like commit. So I don't really recommend them to anybody unless you're like really sure. But you know, some of the good things about them are that they are very clean. They do not tend to have an issue with potty training. So no issues with potty training, and they really don't need a ton of exercise. So they do make good apartment dogs, but like the caveat on that is that they really aren't great with being left alone constantly. They really, really like their people. I also think that they are really good because they will kind of like form a bond pretty equally amongst all members of the household. Whereas with like some other breeds, they get really attached to like one person, or they kind of just like find the alpha and then that's kind of their person. So, I mean, and then they're also really, really cute and sweet and chill and cuddly, and they kind of have a reputation for being dumb, but I don't think that's really true. I think that they're just like not eager to please. But Pippa actually learned like the most commands of any dog I've ever had, so I mean, I don't know. So I always rinse my Pawn and my Perlite because like the rock dust from the little pebbles can kind of turn into like a cement at the bottom of the pot, and it's just not great for the roots, so I do rinse it. And I would recommend that you do too, honestly. Like, oh, you can't see it, but like so much like grit just came out of that. Oh, it's so gross. Okay, so now we've got our Pawn rinsed. Let's put these Anthurium in here. I think another person asked me why I wanted to start a YouTube channel or why I started one, and I think the answer to that is just, I don't know, it just seemed like something that I would enjoy doing. And I mean, I think I was right. I've had a really fun time. I've met a lot of really nice people through it. And, you know, I really enjoy like editing and all of that. So, okay, that's a little bit of a tight fit, but I think it's better than the next size up. This is the same size pot that giant crystalline black is in. So this Bessie eye should be completely fine. I'm just gonna have to like wrap the roots a little bit up into like a ball. Yeah, see, that fits in there just fine. But yeah, I'm really glad that I finally, you know, decided to start the channel. I'm just having a ton of fun meeting everybody, talking to everybody, you know, helping people where I can. I would like to think I'm a pretty creative person, so it's been a nice like creative outlet. And you know, plants are just more fun when you have plant friends. Hobbies in general are more fun when you have friends to do them with. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm glad I went ahead and went for. And then I think a lot of people have asked me like how I like Pawn, or like my opinion on Pawn. And I would say I like it a lot. And there's definitely though a difference in the, at least for me, there has been a difference in the results that I've been getting from the real genuine Lechuza Pawn versus the DIY. And the verdict on that is that the genuine stuff works better. And I don't know why that is. It could be for a lot of reasons. It could honestly be because the genuine stuff is like a finer grain, so the pebbles are smaller. It could be because it's like, you know, fertilized better and pH balanced better. I don't know. I mean, the DIY stuff works pretty well. My Regal, my Anthurium Regal is in the DIY stuff and it's doing really well, but I don't know why that is. But I mean, that big black crystallinum that I showed you guys in the Grow Time video, that's in the real stuff. And I don't think I could even attempt to argue with the results that I've gotten on that. So yeah, see, this fits perfect. A little bit more. So I'm gonna flush this pot out before I'm finished with it. So like putting a little bit on top that I didn't rinse is probably okay. This stuff is expensive and I've like dropped so much of it. Okay, I'm gonna flush this. Okay. And then I have some filtered water over here. Just give it a little bit. All right, so hopefully this plant is a little happier now. We'll just set her up there. Oh, you can still see her. Okay, cool. So now, got the second one. Yeah, that one's gonna fit in there just fine. But yeah, one other thing I will say about Pawn is that it's just not like an overnight miracle. There is some patience involved. So, I mean, like I don't think I've been using it for a full year yet, but you know, there's been some plants that I've gotten really great results with, like almost immediately, like that crystallinum black. That plant just absolutely took off in Pawn, and immediately like the leaves started sizing up, and it was just incredible to watch. Other plants, like my Anthurium magnificum, took a really long time to kind of get going, but you know, eventually did start to get going. And same with my Anthurium regal. I mean, the variable between those is that the crystalline black was left in the grow tent, and those other two plants were never in the grow tent when they were in the pond. So, I mean, that's definitely part of it. But yeah, it's I've also found it's like really great for Hoya, but I find that like baby plants don't do well in it. At least I haven't found the secret sauce to getting like Anthurium seedlings to do well in pond. I have a feeling it's probably something to do with just the pots being too big, but you know, I've decided to just leave my Anthurium seedlings either in moss or perlite until I feel like they have enough root. That regular Besseia affinis definitely had enough. This one, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine, but I mean, it had less for sure. I'm so glad I have this potting mat now. You guys, like, this is such a mess. Tiny gravel everywhere. Oh man, that's the thing about this, like the genuine Lechuza pond, is it's the grit is so fine that it like just sticks to everything. So it's really hard. I wonder if you guys can hear Ralphie snoring. He's on the couch and he's just like snoring. All right, so that's that. Pretty much done. At this point, I've been filming for 30 minutes. And so no, I don't have time to do more, but everything's all set up. So I might just go straight into filming another repot with me. But yeah, these look pretty good in their new little setups. So I'm very optimistic that they're gonna do well. I think I'm gonna put them on my plant shelf in my bedroom. So they should be getting lots of light and be very happy. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.